Inside the field surgery tent, the old medic, Megumi, cut away the wounded soldier's jacket. Her scissors froze as she saw what lay beneath.
Yura,
But how did this soldier end up on that table? The story began 2 weeks earlier when a fever took everything from a young woman.
brother, I won't let them forget you. I swear, I'll make your name live on.
The conscription notice came with the morning light. Only men could serve. Kenta's name was already drafted. That night, Sayaka cut her hair with his shears. Every strand was a promise. She bound her chest until she could barely breathe, lowered her voice to a rough whisper, and studied his movements. She took his papers, his dog tags. When dawn broke, she was gone. She walked to the enlistment office, hands trembling. The clerk looked up from his desk and asked for a name.
No one can know. Kenta, I am here to enlist for Kenta.
The clerk paused, his gaze searching her face. Then he stamped the paper without another word. She took the uniform and dog tags. The metal felt cold against her palm, a weight she'd carry forever.
The physical exam, if they make me strip, it's over. I need to find a way.
That night, she learned the sound of a barracks at rest. Boys breathing deep, unguarded. She lay still as stone.
I will not sleep. I will not dream. I will not become her in the dark.
Morning drills started before dawn. A sergeant screamed at her. She answered in a forced baritone. He moved on.
They see what they expect to see. For now.
At water break, a recruit clapped her on the back. She turned too fast, almost swinging. He laughed and said nothing. 7 days down. The disguise was holding, but the terror never eased. By week 3, Kenta could run the obstacle course faster than any recruit in the squad. The instructors started watching closer. Then the order came for communal showers. One long room, no stalls. Sayaka's blood ran cold.
Sir, twisted my ankle on the ropes. Permission to skip the showers?
She limped away before anyone checked. That night, she hid in a supply closet and rewrapped her bindings until the cloth bruised her ribs. The next morning, a notice was nailed to the board. Full physical exam. All recruits in 48 hours.
A physical exam means stripping to the waist. I'll be found out. I need to fail it without raising suspicion.
She tried every trick, staying up all night to look sick, drinking too much water. The drill sergeant just shook his head.
If I run, I am a deserter. If I stay, a fraud. There's no path where I survive this.
On the eve of the exam, she sat on her bunk, holding Kenta's dog tags. The metal had never felt heavier.
Brother, what do I do?
At dawn, a horn blast shattered the training ground. A small titan had breached the inner gate. All medical staff were diverted. The physical exam was postponed indefinitely.
I bought time, but it cost blood. I will not waste it. I'll become so lethal no one dares inspect my body.
Within a month, Kenta's name topped every drill score. She cleared the rope climb in half the required time. Her blade work was unnervingly precise.
Kenta, that was insane. Teach me that underhand slash you used on the dummy.
It's just repetition. Focus on your own form, Hayato.
But Hayato kept showing up, beside her during runs, after drills. He asked nothing and everything at once. He was the first person who didn't feel like a threat. Across the mess, Ryo watched Kenta with narrowing eyes. Once the top recruit, now second place was a humiliation he couldn't swallow.
That runt moves wrong. Too light, too careful. He's hiding something. I'll find it.
During cleanup, Ryo shoved a tray into another cadet's back, sending it clattering toward Kenta. She caught it midair without a flinch.
Impressive reflexes. Almost like you've been dodging people your whole life. He's hiding something. Every night, he vanishes. I'll find it and break him.
In the supply closet, Rio found a strip of cloth, stiff with blood and sweat, not regulation, a secret.
Lose something, Kenta. This rag was in the closet. Smells like a wound. You don't want us to see.
He had the proof. If he took it to the medics, they'd strip me and find everything.
That's mine. I cut my arm on a blade edge last week. I threw the bandage away. Must have missed.
Rio's eyes narrowed, but without a formal complaint, he had nothing. He left. Hayato pulled Kenta aside.
You never shower with us. You're always tense. And now, a bloody rag. What's really going on, Kenta?
I have a skin condition. The wraps keep me together. I didn't want to be discharged as defective.
Hayato stared hard. He might have wanted to believe her, but something in his eyes said the question wasn't gone. The next day, Commander Takeda announced a full expedition beyond the walls. Real titans. No place for secrets. The column moved through the outer gate at dawn. Green cloaks flared in the wind, and beyond the wall, the world smelled of ash and old blood.
Beyond the wall, there are no physical exams, only soldiers who come back and those who don't. I know which one I intend to be.
Rio saw his chance at the staging ground. While the others checked their harnesses, he slipped past Kenta's gear and pulled a strap loose.
Let's see how the top soldier fights when his wrappings unravel midair.
3 hours in, a 10-meter class burst from the tree line. The squad scattered. Kenta leaped without hesitation. Her blades sank into the nape. But as she swung away, a ripping sound cut the air. The chest strap had torn. For one terrible second, the bindings showed.
Hayato saw. I know he saw. His eyes went wide, and then he looked away, but he saw.
Kenta, your gear. Are you hurt?
Just a scratch. The Titan clawed my jacket. I'll mend it later.
She retreated into the trees before he could press further. But Ryo, watching from a ridge, smiled as if he'd already won. That night, the squad camped in a ruined watchtower. Hayato found Kenta alone, stitching her torn harness in the dark.
I saw what's under the jacket. I'll keep your secret, but you have to tell me why.
It's a skin condition. I've told you. There's nothing more to say.
You are lying. But whatever it is, I won't let Ryo use it against you.
Before she could answer, Ryo's voice cut through the dark. He was addressing the squad, pointing at Kenta.
That soldier hides bandages under his uniform. He's unfit for duty. I demand he be stripped and examined.
The squad stirred. Some looked uncertain, but no officer was present to enforce it. Then the ground shook. A titan, a huge hand, smashed through the tower. A chunk of stone slammed into Kenta's side, tearing flesh. She went down. Hayato dragged her to safety, blood soaking through her jacket. The field medic, old Megumi, was called, and she arrived with her bag. Megumi cut away the soiled uniform to reach the wound. Her blade stilled. She pressed a cloth to the wound and then covered the scream with her hand. Megumi's old hands, steady despite the shock, cut away the bloodied cloth and pressed a clean pad over the torn flesh.
Don't scream. If they hear, they'll drag you out and strip you in the mud. I won't let that happen.
She knows what I am. But her hands are still healing. Is this a trap?
Beyond the canvas, Hayato's voice argued with Rio. The squad wanted answers about the bandages. Megumi worked faster.
This soldier has a ripped flank. No one enters until I say. Ryo, if you cause my patient to die, I'll have you court-martialed.
She stitched the wound in silence, her eyes never meeting Sayaka's. The needle pierced skin, not questions.
You could have me discharged. Branded a criminal. Why risk your rank for a soldier who shouldn't be here?
Because the Corps needs every blade that can kill a Titan. And I've served beside women before. Now sleep.
Sayaka's mind reeled. Women before. She wasn't alone? The words spun as the sedative pulled her under.
Rio will keep digging. I'll need to move her to the hidden supply cart before he forces entry.
As Ryo's voice rose outside the tent, Megumi's eyes met Hayato's. She gave a single nod, and he stepped toward the entrance.
No one enters. The medic's working. I'll guard this tent myself.
You are protecting a fraud. When Command hears about this, you'll both be scrubbing floors.
Inside, Megumi packed her bag with swift, practiced movements. She tied a strip of cloth marked with a tiny floral symbol around the bandages.
This stays hidden. If you see one like it, you are among friends. Now pretend to sleep.
A symbol. She's not just a medic. There are others. But how many? And for how long?
At dawn, the squad marched back. Ryo sent word ahead, a demand for a formal investigation. Hayato walked beside the cart, silent.
She's a woman. The signs were all there. But why would anyone risk this unless they had no other way?
I'll have his uniform off in front of the whole corps. Then we'll see what's really under there.
Inside the cart, Sayaka's fingers brushed the hidden flower. For the first time since Kenta died, she felt a flicker of something other than terror. The supply cart creaked into the inner yard. Ryo was already sprinting toward command headquarters, a loaded complaint in his fist.
By tonight, Kenta will be exposed as a coward hiding a deformity, and I'll be top soldier again.
Inside the infirmary, Megumi packed fresh bandages and handed Sayaka a small vial. Drink. It dulls the pain, but you must stay awake.
What are you going to do? Ryo's already got half the base buzzing. They'll come with an order any minute.
I've pushed the formal exam to dawn on medical grounds, but it won't hold forever. We need another way.
The door banged open. Commander Takeda filled the frame, his scarred face carved from stone.
A soldier has been accused of hiding a physical defect. A full examination will be conducted at first light, no exceptions.
It's over. My brother's name. Everything. Gone before sunrise.
Not yet. There's something I need to show you. Get up. We have until dawn.
She pulled aside a heavy shelf, revealing a narrow passage. Down there, you'll learn why you are not alone. The stairway curved into a low, windowless chamber, lit by 3 lanterns. 3 women in uniform were already waiting, their lapels marked with the same tiny flower.
More of us. So many. How long has this been going on?
I was no older than you when I first bound myself. 40 years, every one of us a dead brother's name, a stolen uniform.
Megumi passed a faded photograph, a young woman in an old-style uniform, fierce-eyed, with cropped hair, the same flower on her collar. One of the silent women stepped forward and pressed a folded note into Sayaka's palm. Inside, a list of names, soldiers, medics, couriers, all with the flower mark. They passed survival techniques from one generation to the next. How to wrap, how to bleed in private, how to disappear during showers. A silent sisterhood of the blade.
Command knows. They pretend not to see because we fill the ranks. The law won't change, but the Corps bends where it must.
Then why the exam? If they know, they'll still expose me.
They need a reason to stop Ryo without admitting what they know. Tomorrow, I'll give them one. Trust us. You are not alone.
Sayaka looked at the faces around her, scarred, tired, proud, and for the first time since taking Kenta's name, she let herself breathe. Megumi's plan took shape in frantic whispers. By dawn, a courier would arrive with forged medical records listing Kenta as exempt from strip exams due to a fractured rib.
One sister works in the record room. She'll place it during the shift change, but we need someone to watch Ryo, keep him from interfering.
I'll do it. I've caused enough trouble by not speaking up sooner. Let me make this right.
Rio spent the night drilling the trainees on the inspection protocol, savoring the coming humiliation. He didn't notice Hayato slip into the armory behind him.
At dawn, every last bandage will hit the floor. I've even stationed a secondary medic outside the exam room. No one will bend the rules for a coward.
In the infirmary, Sayaka rehearsed the forged wound chart, a documented rib fracture from the Titan attack. Every line had to be memorized.
I was so alone. Now I am carrying a nation of silent women inside me. I can't fail them.
Dawn is breaking. The commander will call for you shortly. Remember, you are Kenta, wounded hero. Hold the line.
Rio burst into the exam room early, expecting a spectacle. Instead, a courier handed the senior medic a file. The officer read it and closed the curtain.
The examination is postponed due to confirmed trauma. The soldier requires 4 more days of recovery. Now get out, all of you.
Rio stormed into the commander's office, slamming the postponement notice onto the desk. This is a forgery. I demand a full investigation, sir.
The medic's assessment stands. Kenta has a documented injury. Unless you have evidence of fraud, this matter is closed.
Evidence? I'll find it. I'll search every supply closet until I find those bindings again.
Be careful, soldier. False accusations against a wounded comrade can damage more than just your rank.
In the infirmary, Megumi changed the dressings with steady hands. Rio won't stop. But you are protected for now. The sisterhood will watch him.
What if he finds proof? What if he breaks into the records? The lie can't hold forever.
Then we have more than just records. We've got each other's backs now, remember?
Hayato pulled his jacket open, just enough to show the same floral pin hidden beneath. I've decided I want to protect more than just one soldier.
You are both young. The road ahead is long. But tonight, we've won a battle. Tomorrow, we fight another.
Sayaka touched the flower on her own bandage. The weight of her brother's name felt a little lighter in the company of the living. On the 3rd day of recovery, Hayato appeared at the infirmary door, his face drawn. He closed the door behind him with a quiet click.
I need the truth, Kenta. I've guarded your secret. I've worn your flower, but I can't follow someone whose name I don't even know.
If I tell him, and he flinches, I lose the only ally my age. But if I lie again, I lose myself. My name is Sayaka. Kenta was my twin brother. He died before the draft. I took his place because the law would have buried my life before it began.
She pulled the chain from her neck and let the tags hang between them. One stamped Kenta, the other blank. Hers never issued.
Sayaka. That's a good name. It suits you better than Kenta. I am honored you trust me with it.
No one outside that hidden room has ever called me my real name. I thought I'd have to kill it forever.
Megumi entered then, taking in the scene without a word. She placed a fresh roll of bandages on the table, the flower facing up.
The first name you share is the hardest. Now you both carry it. Guard it well. The commander wants to see you tomorrow, Kenta, and I think he'll use that name too, if you let him.
Sayaka's heart hammered. The commander, did he know? Would tomorrow be a medal or a noose? At dawn, Sayaka walked the long corridor to the commander's office alone. Every step echoed like a drumbeat of judgment.
If I stand frozen, he'll see fear. If I walk too tall, he'll see defiance. I have to be exactly what he expects a soldier who fought.
Come in, Kenta, or should I call you Sayaka? Yes, I know. Close the door. I've known about women in the Corps since before your parents were born. I protect them because they protect humanity. You are not special.
Then, why the exam? Why the threat? You could have stopped Ryo from the start.
Because I needed to see if you were worth protecting. You passed. Now, I need you to do more than just fight. I need you to find the next ones.
He wants me to be a scout for the sisterhood, to find women like me and bring them in. If I accept, I'll never just be a soldier again. And if I refuse, do I walk out of here as Kenta, or do I disappear?
You'll stay Kenta. Nothing changes. But every woman who dies because no one found her will be on your conscience.
Then I accept. I'll carry the flower openly, and I'll find the ones who need it, for Kenta's name and for mine.
Ryo's investigation tightened. He'd bribed a clerk to search the medical archives for the forger's handwriting. Only a matter of hours now.
By nightfall, I'll have the name of the traitor who forged that wound certificate. Then the whole rotten flower will burn.
Megumi called a hasty meeting in the infirmary. The forged documents had to be destroyed before Ryo matched the script to one of their own.
I'll do it. I am the only one who can explain being near the record room without raising suspicion if I am caught.
No, your wound isn't fully healed. If you get caught, they'll strip you right there. Let me go, I can make a distraction.
He's right, but if Hayato is caught, he'll be court-martialed. I can't let him sacrifice his career for me again.
That night, Sayaka slipped past the guards, heart pounding. She found the folder with the forged records and lit a match.
Put that match down, Kenta. Or should I call you Sayaka? Yes, I know. And you just proved it.
Before Ryo could call the guards, a crash echoed from the east wing. Hayato's doing. Ryo cursed and sprinted toward it.
I owe him everything. This isn't just my fight anymore. I have to protect the sisterhood, whatever it costs.
The east wing blaze drew every guard. Sayaka fled the record room through the shadows, the smoke of burned papers still in her lungs. In the courtyard, Ryo screamed at the assembled cadets, pointing at the infirmary wing. The traitor is in there, a woman who stole a dead man's name.
You have no proof, Ryo. You are just bitter because the top soldier is better than you in every way.
Proof. I saw her bindings. I heard her scream when the medic uncovered her. She's a woman and a fraud. Strip her now.
The crowd murmured, doubt spreading. Sayaka stepped into the torchlight, her face pale but her back straight.
I am Kenta, scout soldier. I killed a Titan 2 days ago. If you want my uniform off, you'll have to kill me first.
Enough. This soldier's medical file has been reviewed. There will be no further examination. Stand down, Ryo.
She burned the records. She admitted it. I can prove.
But the crowd saw only a wounded soldier defying a bully. The cadets parted as the commander descended.
Ryo, for repeated harassment of a decorated soldier, you are confined to quarters. Your rank is suspended. You will speak no more.
In the days that followed, the base whispered what they dared not speak aloud. Megumi changed the bandages, and Hayato stood guard at the door.
Your secret is safe in their eyes now. The commander has sealed Ryo's mouth with a formal reprimand. You can breathe.
Safe. For the first time since I took my brother's name, I believe it.
A week later, Commander Takeda pinned a medal on her chest before the assembled corps. She stood as Kenta, but her heart beat with a woman's pride.
For valor beyond the wall, may your blade never dull, Kenta.
The crowd cheered Kenta, but among the ranks, the hidden women exchanged quiet glances, fingers brushing the flowers beneath their lapels. In the years that followed, Sayaka became a legend on the front lines, but her true work was done in the shadows. She found Yuri, a girl trembling before the draft board, with her dead brother's name on her lips.
I know what you are carrying. Let me show you a different path. One where you can fight and keep your name.
She pressed a flower pin into Yuri's palm, just as Megumi had once done for her. The sisterhood grew new roots. Decades passed. Sayaka grew old under Kenta's name. But the sisterhood kept her true name alive in whispers. When her last breath came, Megumi was there, pressing a flower into her hand. Her coffin was carried into the sun, green cloak draped. medals gleaming. The mourners called her Captain Kenta. But then, a figure stepped forward.
We are gathered to honor a soldier, and we will call her by her name, Sayaka, Captain Sayaka.
The women of the Corps raised their hands in salute, young and old, bound and free, all wearing the flower. For the first time, her true name echoed over the burial ground, not in whispers but in a unified cry. Hayato, white-haired, stood at the edge, nodding silently. He had known the name before anyone. On her gravestone, they carved both names, Kenta, Sayaka, and beneath, a single flower. And on a distant tree outside the walls, hundreds of dog tags hung from branches, a single flower pinned to each one, swaying in the wind. The tree outside the walls became a silent testament. Every season, fresh flowers bloomed on its branches, pinned by hands that knew the weight of a hidden name. Young recruits were led there by the sisterhood and taught the meaning of the flower. They left offerings, a strip of binding cloth, a cut lock of hair, a written name never spoken aloud. The tree grew heavy with memory, its branches a registry of the war's true cost. And at the center of all those names, hung by Megumi's own hand, a single dog tag bore a name that took decades to surface. Her grave became a pilgrimage for those who carried the flower, a place where they could whisper their real names. Inside the walls, the Corps continued to fight. Women served in silence, but now, with a little more hope. The commander's protection held, but it was Sayaka's legacy that gave them courage, and the sisters answered, "We remember, we continue. We are not alone." On the day of her burial, the sun broke through clouds for the first time in a week, and a young girl, holding a flower, walked to the tree and pinned it beside a faded tag that read Kenta. The girl pinned the flower and stepped back. The tree accepted the offering, as it had for decades, without a sound. Among the thousands of tags, one fresh blossom stood out, a small white bloom beside the name Kenta. The names on the tree were not secrets anymore. They were a registry of the brave, written in metal and petals. The young girl turned away, her own story just beginning. She would carry the flower inside her uniform, as so many had before. As dawn broke over the walls the next morning, the tree caught the light first. The flowers gleamed like small stars. The Corps marched out to face the Titans, and among them, women with flowers hidden beneath their cloaks. The sisterhood endured, and on the memorial wall, a new tag had been added, Sayaka. It hung beside Kenta's, the metal still warm from the smith's hammer. The wind stirred the branches, and the sound was almost a whisper. Sayaka, Captain Sayaka. For 100 years, the flower bloomed on graves and collars, in secret meetings and public ceremonies. It never asked for permission. And at the end, there was only the tree, the wind, and the names swaying gently in the quiet, unending war. The war never ended, but the tree grew anyway. Season after season, it bore the names of the hidden and the brave. Every new blossom was a promise kept, a name spoken at last on windless nights. The tags did not chime. They rested, heavy with stories, waiting for the next morning's patrol. And somewhere, a young girl with short hair and a stolen uniform looked toward the tree and nodded once before turning toward the wall. The sisterhood never needed permission. It only needed memory. So the next time the bugles sounded, the women bound their chests, lowered their voices, and marched out as men. They fought for a world that still refused to name them, and the tree remembered each one. A small flower, stitched in secret, outlasted walls, outlasted titans, outlasted silence. The wind rose once more, and a single dog tag turned in the light, Kenta, and beside it, a fresh tag, Sayaka, still shining. They were not the last. The tree would bloom again.